Saitama's new League of Heroes is finally here. The savior of the Hero Association has arrived, and Garo has returned. A group of unfamiliar figures approach Saitama with an introduction. This is the Hero Name Victims Association, members of the Hero Association who were given terrible names. They demand both apologies and changes from the ones in charge. Because of course, heroes aren't allowed to choose their own names. They're C-Class rank 198, Drunkard, on account of his perpetual flush. C-Class rank 83, Toupee Warrior, due to his hair. C-Class rank 385, Red Nose, for obvious reasons. C-Class rank 160, Dr. Grumpy Pervert, and he has every reason to be upset. And their member with the highest rank is B-Class rank 100, the Great Degenerate. Somebody clearly doesn't like him. And now their sights are set on A-Class rank 39, Caped Baldy. With one of the worst hero names amongst the A-Class, they beseeched him to become their leader, as they would need him in the fights to come. Saitama was staggered by the revelation. He immediately came to the wrong conclusion about the importance of their movement. To Saitama, this is one of the most significant developments in his heroic career. Black S observed their interaction from behind. He wondered if Saitama really let a monsterized Sweet Mask escape. If so, then it might be possible to exploit such a weakness, because despite Saitama's insurmountable strength, he's not nearly as harsh. So, with the right amount of cleverness, a monster could actually escape his wrath. And if these are the sorts of heroes that the association has left, then he doesn't have much hope for their future. Meanwhile, Neo Heroes seem to have claimed all the quality prospects. Well, maybe not all of them. Suiko marveled at Hero Association headquarters and was eager to bring her talents to such an exciting place. Although the recruitment team that invited her weren't nearly as enthusiastic. But since she doesn't get out much, Suiko doesn't know about their current downtrend, and they don't plan on letting her know anytime soon. They welcomed her and prepared an initial assessment of her capabilities that would determine her rank. The scouts had actually done a bit of research on the Void Fist. They mentioned the fact that her brother holds the record for the most Super Fight Tournament victories. Far more interested in her sibling, they asked Suiko for his current location. But remembering how he left her his hospital bill, Suiko called her brother a slacker. Her best guess is that he's just messing around like he usually does. Oblivious to his Neo Heroes affiliation, the Lady Scout longed to contact him. Suiko didn't really understand the point, since she claims to be stronger than him. But that just made the rude scout chuckle. Annoyed, Suiko decided to prove herself. They then ventured to the second training ground. And as a reminder, Saitama and Flashy Flash fought in the third training ground. Suiko leapt and tore through a mechanized giant in an instant. And based on the headpiece, this may have been one of Child Emperor's creations. Observing from above, the three scouts couldn't believe their eyes. Suiko's void revolving tortoise fist was more than enough to get the job done. Afterwards, she hit the showers while they made their decision. When they decided that she should be A-Class, Suiko was sure that it must be some sort of mistake. They were done doubting her strength, but it still wasn't exactly S-Class just yet. Even so, she's still so young. And since Child Emperor is not around, if they were to induct her, she would be the youngest S-Class hero. They believed that with more experience in the field, Suiko could become a considerable powerhouse in the future. Her true potential is expected to show itself through combat. The martial artist took her newfound status in stride and accepted that she'll just need to work harder from now on. With unwavering resolve, Suiko decided to become an incredible hero and totally surprise her slacker of a brother. And thanks to the detection of a monster, she already has a chance to prove herself. Meanwhile, her brother Suiru was with Neo Heroes, and very confused by the target they'd given him. As far as he could tell, the target wasn't a monster at all. The staff member was quick to remind the martial artist of the debt he incurred by destroying one of their suits. Instead of a dialogue, they want him to stop asking questions and do as he's told. But still, the guy they're meant to fight looks like he's just doing his part-time job. So Suiru wanted to know the charges against him. The man explained that their target was a societal menace who called himself a hero hunter. A foul person who narrowly avoided prison just because he's a minor. And according to this guy, it's a hero's responsibility to punish evil that the law can't judge. Furthermore, if their target doesn't fight back, then they'll need to force him to. Which just further goes to show how shady the Neo heroes really are. As of course, their target is Garo, who looks as cool as ever. Elsewhere, Genos' eyes widen to the onrush of power before him. Saitama's fist was just inches away from hitting the cyborg's face. But luckily for him, this was just a test of Saitama's strength meant for Dr. Kuseno to analyze. Someone is finally trying to understand why Saitama is so strong. Genos called out to his master as he grabbed a drink, but the cyborg hesitated. He wanted to know what happened to Sweet Mask after the incident, but he stopped himself since it might not be appropriate, especially since he noticed the look on Saitama's face. After documenting Saitama's every blink and fart, Genos can tell when something is off. And knowing that this was one such case, Genos decided to trust his master to reveal the truth when the time is right. Saitama suggested that they go out for some soba noodles, and Genos agreed. But looking ahead, Saitama was more serious than ever. The world's strongest anticipates a major shift to the balance of powers, not by Neo heroes, or even the era of monsters that Sweet Mask foresaw. Yeah, he's only thinking about the Hero Named Victims Association. He's decided that it's too soon for him to tell Genos, so Saitama will wait until the time is right. This is one of my favorite gags in the series, and I am so relieved to see that these guys weren't replaced by those pesky ninjas. Overall, this chapter was very faithful to the original webcomic version. Although, thanks to Murata's artwork, Suiko's fight against that robot was way more impressive, to the point where it's a bit strange that the scouts would so adamantly deem her to be A-class. Now, don't get me wrong, I do think her ranking is fair based on what we've seen from the S-class heroes, but aside from Saitama and Sweet Mask, it's hard to imagine any other A-class heroes having such an easy time against a giant mech created by Child Emperor or even Metal Knight. So personally, I'd place Suiko above Atomic Samurai's 3 disciples, who are now, with the loss of Sweet Mask, at the top of A-class. And considering the cost of giant robots, I doubt they're meant to be destroyed during tests at all. The scouts mention a lack of experience, but we know that the S-class was designed to bypass that. But despite the superior display from manga Suiko, the webcomic's mention of her possibly becoming the savior of the Hero Association was removed. And in the webcomic, we're introduced to her brother Suiru for the first time right after these events. But since he was added to the manga way sooner than she was, and we already had the Neo Heroes meeting, a brand new scene was created for him. In the webcomic, Garo isn't seen at all for a good while after the Monster Association. There's no explanation as to what he's been up to, so the whole part-time job thing is a funny surprise. While in the manga, Bang acts as Garo's guardian since his parents have abandoned him. He rejoins the dojo and is meant to join the S-Class heroes as the new Silver Fang. But first, he has to handle his court-mandated part-time job. The webcomic doesn't really have an explanation for this. It's more like he's just trying to turn his life around. Instead of being forced to do something like this, it's just what he decided to do with his life. From his fight against Saitama onwards, webcomic Garo and manga Garo are two vastly different characters. So the combination of him and a vastly different Suiru is bound to come with many changes. That said, tons of crazy things happen in the webcomic before these two characters meet. So I am very curious to see how this will all be handled. But whatever the case, I'm sure it'll be epic either way. As always, I'm Sliceable Otaku. Thank you all so much for watching and have an awesome day. I love you.